Today's special guests are Liz and Elizabeth Evans of Simple Simon and Company, and they're here to show us how to make a quick and easy 7-minute double gauze scarf.
Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here. This really is a great, simple project. You only need a few tools. You're going to need 18 inches of double gauze, scissors, pom-poms, and a sewing machine. If you have a serger, that will come in handy, and we'll show you how to use that in a few minutes.
We love to work with double gauze. It's such a popular fabric right now, and we've made all sorts of projects out of it. It's great because it's breathable, it comes in fun patterns and colors, and it's perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, spring scarf is right up my alley. So show me how to make this.
All right. In the beginning, I said we only need 18 inches of fabric, and that's what we have, and it's already been pre-cut. But before we move on to the next step, let's talk about cutting in case you haven't cut double gauze before. There are two ways that you can do it. We have this fun print that is very easy to cut along. We'll just use the lines here that are already in the pattern for a reference point, and you can cut directly along the edge of those lines. But if you have like an all-over print, actually you're the one that taught me a really easy trick. The grain line is really pronounced in this double gauze print, and you can just follow straight along this grain line with your scissors and just cut. Once it is cut, we are going to fray the edges for a fun look for spring and summer. Now this is where the two layers come in really handy because we're going to break apart these fibers, which is simple. You can see that it's starting to come apart right along here. All we're going to do is we're going to pull on some of these strands, and as we pull on these strands, we'll pull them all the way to the end. You can see.
You can actually see the double layers, can't you?
You can, and you can see where they're starting to fray apart, and you're going to get this fun frayed edge. You can make the frays as wide or as thin as you want, depending on how many fibers that you continue to pull out of the side.
And like you mentioned, if you wanted to do a stop line of where you want it to fray, then that's where you run your stitch.
Right.
It's such a fun, double gauze has a tendency to fray anyway, so we're kind of playing up that aspect of the fabric by using it for that fun texture on the side of a scarf too.
I'm just going to steal the scissors right here. For time's sake, I won't fray the whole side of the scarf, but I just want to show you really quick how cute the fraying looks right here along the edges.
And we all know the more you use, the more you wash double gauze, the softer it gets. So I bet that would be a nice soft edge the more you use it, right?
Perfect.
For sure. Once you have the edges, both sides, frayed as much as you'd like, then you can take it over to your serger. Now if you don't have a serger, you can use a sewing machine for this portion and just do a really tight zigzag stitch along the edges. But we do have a serger today, and so that's what we're going to use.
And we love our serger. So we use it a lot.
Baby Lock does the best makes the best serger.
We love our Baby Lock sergers. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm serging off the ends of this, but I'm also following along the pattern line that's going. So we've just finished up the edges of this double gauze scarf, and we're not actually sewing any seams. But if you were to sew seams, if you were sewing a garment, you probably would want to reinforce them, especially if you were doing side seams on a dress or side seams on a skirt or something. Double gauze is great because it frays, and we're using that to our advantage in this project, but you don't want that to do that in your side seams. So use a smaller stitch length. I like to use like a 1.5 or a 1, and then you can even go back and sew back and forth along that seam to make sure that those are in tight. If you're doing a hem, it probably doesn't matter, but things that get a lot of pull, or especially children's garments, make sure you reinforce those seams on double gauze.
Great tip.
All right,
it
so
would
we're
make
ready.
a great, lightweight summer skirt, a dress, or even a swimsuit cover-up. So that's a great tip for apparel items.
All right. Okay, our next part is we're going to add the pom-poms here to the end. So I'm just going to spread this out really quickly for us.
Trim up our little tails.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Here's the other tail. Because our scarf is 18 inches wide and we have two ends, we're going to need a yard of pom-poms, 18 inches for each side. You can cut them ahead of time. So we're just going to measure down.
Make it a little bit bigger.
I usually do. I make it just a little inch or two bigger just in case. account for some shifting in the fabric as I'm sewing. And all we're going to do is lay our pom-poms right along that serge line, and we're going to stitch them down.
And you don't necessarily like to pin, because you can.
Don't like to pin.
We're going to keep that in 7 minutes, the scarf, and so no pinning.
No pinning, no pinning.
And that serge line does make a great kind of guide to follow along as you're putting those pom-poms on. So you probably don't need pins if you've got it serged on there.
You don't need pins.
And so we're using a regular foot. 1.5 will do our stitch length, and we're doing a tight zigzag, right?
Yes, for
Perfect.
sure. And that will do two things. That'll help keep the pom-poms on nice and tight, and then we'll also keep it, from fraying or pulling out. It just makes it extra secure there at the bottom.
I kind of like sewing pom-poms on with the regular foot, but some people prefer a zipper foot. If you are one of those people, you can just switch out your regular foot for a zipper foot. I just love that this mini trim, that side of the presser foot holds it down as we're going along.
Okay, so we just finished. Just trim up the edges.
Perfect, and you've got pom-poms now on both sides.
And
Darling.
you've already done those frayed edges. Our scarf doesn't have those yet, but on yours you've already done those and you're ready to wear it.
And that's perfect for the unusual spring weather, hot or cold.
Perfect, perfect, love it.
Adds a cute pattern to whatever you're wearing. We do have another double gauze video that we did for a cute swaddle blanket, so make sure you check out that one for another double gauze project.
And you always have great things on your website. Tell us your website. Remind us of your website.
www.simplesimonandco.com.
Yep, come check it out.
And for tutorials like this, the baby blanket, and others, subscribe to our Riley Blake Designs YouTube channel.